As darkness fell, a chilling whisper weaved through the cold air. I see you, always. From this singular, bone-chilling encounter, we are thrust into the dark and distorted depths of human madness, where the line between reality and delusion becomes fraught and frayed. We commence our tale beneath the looming, hulking silhouettes of urban apartment blocks, where a woman by the name of Sarah carved out a solitary existence. Sarah, a woman of indomitable spirit and tremendous courage, lived in isolation. One fateful night, the eerie silence of her apartment was shattered by a scratching sound at door. It was faint at first, like a mouse scurrying across a wooden floor, but soon it grew louder, more persistent, more desperate. As the scratching mutated into a monstrous crescendo, a sinister voice slithered through the keyhole. I see you always. This voice, fraught with a depraved obsession, belonged to a man with whom Sarah had never crossed paths. His fixation on Sarah was not a spur-of-the-moment fascination. Rather, was a deeply rooted obsession that had been brewing and festering for months. His once normal mind had spiraled, descending into a pit of every waking moment was consumed by thoughts of Sarah. Every sleeping moment was infested with dreams of her. His warped sense of love had mutated into a terrifying obsession, turning him into a shadow that ceaselessly pursued Sarah. This spine-tingling encounter marked the inception of a horrifying chapter in Sarah's life. Her ordeal was not a fleeting nightmare, but rather a prolonged period of terror that haunted her for weeks. Her once safe abode turned into a nerve-wracking cage. Her life became a series of torturous days and sleepless nights, never knowing when the unseen stalker would strike again. However, this story of terror does not end in despair. After weeks of living in constant dread, the predator lurking in the shadows was finally apprehended. The relentless efforts of law enforcement finally bore fruit. The stalker was cornered, unmasked, and shackled. In the end, Sarah's terrifying ordeal concluded, not with a whimper, but with the triumphant roar of justice. As we shift our narrative from the urban sprawl into the rural tranquility, our next tale unfolds in the bucolic heart of the countryside. It focuses on a family, removed from civilization, living in solitude with their only neighbor being an oddball named Walter. Walter was not your typical elderly gentleman. He lived a reclusive life, known for his idiosyncrasies and a past shrouded in ambiguity and eccentric tales. This mysterious man was as intriguing as he was unnerving. However, an ominous day dawned when Walter's eccentricities took a malevolent turn. The old man started making disconcerting claims that he could hear muffled whispers coming from the earth beneath his feet. These voices, he professed, beseeched him to commit terrifying acts of violence. Initially, the family brushed off his claims, believing them to be the delusions of an old man. Yet they couldn't ignore the escalating intensity of Walter's erratic behavior. His eyes held a wild, unsettling gleam. His speech became more disjointed, and his actions grew progressively bolder and more threatening. A shroud of dread settled over the family as they were gripped by a growing fear. The once genial old man, now a figure of fear and unpredictability. The narrative spirals towards its bone-chilling climax, when Walter, governed by the sinister voices echoing in his mind, attempted to set the family's house ablaze. The flickering flames, a terrifying testament to his descent into madness. This horrifying act forced the authorities to intervene, culminating in Walter's internment in a mental health facility. The tale of Walter serves as a chilling reminder of the fine line between eccentricity and insanity. Our tale concludes with the uncanny narrative of a youthful maiden, Lily, who, in a tranquil hamlet, encountered an unhinged woman. This woman, obscured by the moniker the Widow, spiraled into insanity following the soul-crushing demise of her confidant and her companion, her husband. This loss shattered her world, cracking the foundation of her sanity. She wandered aimlessly through narrow lanes, her eyes vacant, reflecting her lost soul and her laughter, a discordant song that echoed ominously through the silent nights. Lily, a picture of curiosity and innocence, was inexplicably drawn to this somber figure. She decided to forge a bond with the widow, unaware of the twist this relationship was destined to take. What initially blossomed as innocent camaraderie fueled by Lily's empathetic heart gradually morphed into a sinister obsession. The widow's heartbroken psyche began to project her deceased daughter's image onto Lily. Her delusions grew stronger, and so did her attachment to Lily. This led to a series of bone-chilling incidents that sent ripples of fear through the town. The widow, clad in the shroud of her madness, attempted to abduct Lily, fully believing it was her own child that she was protecting. This act of desperation sent shockwaves through the community, bewildering the townfolk. Fear gripped Lily, transforming her once serene life into a nightmarish reality. The widow's actions, a mirror of her shattered psyche, were too grave to be overlooked. She was committed to an institution, ending the reign of fear that had held the town hostage. And thus, the tale of Lily and the widow, interwoven with innocence, madness, and terror, reached its heartbreaking resolution. These narratives shed light on the slim, almost imperceptible division that exists between sanity and madness. This precarious boundary is one that, once transgressed, can catalyze a cascade of horrors that defy comprehension. They are horrors that distort reality and warp the mind, evoking terror that is profound and insurmountable. The stories give us a chilling insight into the transformation process, where the ordinary can be warped into the extraordinary, where everyday reality can be contorted into a grotesque, macabre tableau. This metamorphosis is a testament to the disturbing potential of the human mind, where the commonplace can become chillingly unfamiliar and the routine can morph into the horrific.